For our next speaker, unfortunately, she's from India and currently living in Poland, and it was not possible for her to come. But her supervisor Christoph is here, and so I asked her this morning, and I think at 4 a.m. to record a video clip, and at 7 a.m. she actually provided it. So we have like 15 to 20 minutes video clip, and then Christoph is taking the question from her work. So the virtual stage is yours, and she is participating online also. I've seen it in the participant list before. So enjoy your talk from at home, and thank you for working with us that fast pace and easy.
Hello everyone, my name is Kanupriya Rawat and I'm a PhD student in the Department of Psychology at Kazimierz University in Bydgoszcz in Poland. Today I will present our pilot study titled Achievement Motivation, Physical Self-Concept and Competitive Anxiety in Esports as part of the Future and Reality of Gaming Conference. Now, esport is one of the fastest growing performance fields in the world. Yet, the psychological factors behind players' development and success are still not very well understood. Our goal was to look at esport player the same way we look at traditional athletes, through the lens of psychological variables like motivation, self-concept, and anxiety. So, success in sport depends on several factors: psychological, social, and physical. Previous research studies shows that goal orientation, physical self concept, and competitive anxiety are all closely linked to performance and well being. Esports, however, they offer a unique context. It followed by massive audiences across language and culture, but it brings a different quality of experience than traditional sport. Players they spend long hours sitting, often under cognitive stress rather than physical strain. Yet they still face the same performance pressure. So we wanted to understand, how do esport players perceive their physical self-concept? What kind of goal orientation motivates them to improve? And how do competitive anxiety and physical self-concept interact with their career development? So, the main aim of our research was to examine the relationship between human motivation, which is goal orientation, physical self concept, and competitive anxiety across career stages like recreational, semi professional, and professional players, and BMI categories, which is underweight, normal, overweight, and obesity. We also wanted to see how these factors can predict professional career intentions and self esteem outcomes in sports. So, regarding key psychological variables, we will first talk about achievement motivation. Achievement motivation reflects our drive to success. We used the 3 by 2 achievement goal model by Maskrit et al. In 2015, which divides motivation into 6 dimensions: task approach, task avoidance, self approach, self avoidance, other approach, and other avoidance. So for measurement, we applied the 3 by 2 achievement goal questionnaire for sport, which captures how players define success, whether they aim to outperform others or they improve themselves. Second is competitive anxiety, which is according to multidimensional anxiety theory by Martin et al. In 1990. It occurs at both the somatic and cognitive levels. So we measure it using the Sport Anxiety Scale 2, which includes 3 subscales: somatic, anxiety, worry, and concentration disruption. This helped us understand how much stress and tension players experience before or during the competition. Now, about physical self concept, it is a person's perception of their own body, fitness, and appearance, physical ability basically. So, we used the short form of Physical Self Description Questionnaire by Marsh et al. In 2010. which cover areas like health, activity, body fat, strength, endurance, appearance, flexibility, coordination, sport competence, global physical concept, general self-esteem. It has total 11 dimensions. So, although esport is not a physical sport, body image and health perception, they can still influence confidence and performance. So, from this point of view, we conducted our pilot study. Now, our key research question was how do achievement motivation, physical self concept, and competitive anxiety interact across BMI categories and career quality to predict professional intention and psychosocial outcomes among esport players. For that, we study 50 esport players, 41 men and 9 women, with a mean age of 21.9 years. Participants, they completed three questionnaires. The 3x2 achievement goal questionnaire sport, which has 18 items. Then the short form of physical self-description questionnaire, which has 40 items, and sport anxiety scale 2, which has 15 items. All of these scales are adapted in Polish language for my doctoral dissertation. We also collected self-report data on BMI, career level, and professional career intentions. So, according to our analysis, most respondents are between 19 and 23 years old, which indicates that sample is predominantly young adults. Only a few participants, they are above 25 years old, and very few cases of 30 to 37 age range we have found. Then the majority had a normal BMI with a few overweight and underweight players. Next, we have a weak positive relationship correlation between BMI and gaming hours, where overweight players, they played the most, about 5 hours daily. And it is followed by normal BMI players at 3.7 hours. However, this relationship was weak, which suggests that gaming hours alone do not strongly predict BMI. Other factors can influence it, like diet, physical activity, and overall lifestyle. Regarding the frequency of playing video games, over half of the participants, 26 basically, played daily, and another 19 played several times a week. Regarding pursue gaming as a professional player or gamer, 74% said they do not want to go professional. They do not want to go professional. 14% said yes, and 12% were unsure. So this shows that while e-sport is popular, only a small amount or small fraction intends to pursue it as a full-time career. 70% gamers reported that they do regular exercises or sports. Interestingly, no sport category gamers, they played about 19% more per day and had slightly higher BMI, but the difference was minimal. About task approach goals, which is about achievement motivation, goal orientation. So the task approach goals were strong predictors of professional career intentions. This means that the players are motivated by personal improvement and mastery, and they are more likely to pursue a professional path. The stronger the intention to pursue a professional esport career, the higher the task approach achievement goals will be. So this makes theoretical sense since task approach goals, they focus on mastering the skills and improving your own competence. So it is essential mindset for anyone which is considering a professional gaming career. So the maybe group, it also falls right in between. So it suggests that task approach could be a psychological marker of career readiness in esports. Similarly, the results show a significant relationship between self approach goals and professional esport career intention. This means that players who are motivated by personal improvement and self comparison, which is basically striving to outperform their own past performances rather than others. So they are more likely to aspire towards a professional esport career. So such motivation reflects internalized achievement orientation, which is more stable and sustainable over the period of time compared to externally driven motives like social approval or rewards. So, in other words, we can say that those who focus on being better than their previous selves, they tend to show stronger long term commitment and professional ambition in esports. Now, about global physical self concept, they differ significantly across BMI categories. And we were excited to check what results it can bring. So it shows that how players' perception of their body and abilities are related to their physical conditions, even in esports. So semi-professional and professional players, they had higher self-esteem compared to recreational ones. So as players progress in their careers, I think their confidence and overall self-evaluation, they improve. So it means that even among esport participants who are often stereotypically seen as less physically active, variation in body composition, which we measured through BMI, it is self-reported, is tied to how positively or negatively individuals they view their own physical attributes. And lastly, we found that the worry dimension from SAS2, Sport Anxiety Scale 2, was significantly related to BMI, which suggests that physical factors can influence mental stress levels in e-sport context. And worry dimension is basically from cognitive anxiety. So it was very important result that we see in our data. So our results shows that psychosocial factors such as motivation, anxiety, and self-perception significantly influence not only intentions to pursue professional esport career, but also players' ongoing well-being and self-esteem as they transition through different career stages from recreational to professional to professional. Um, these psychological factors, they play a very important role in esport, just as in any traditional sport. The players who set mastery-oriented goals, like focusing on task approach goals, which is improving their own skill, and self-approach goals, which is self-development through self-comparison, rather than comparing themselves to others. It shows greater professional ambition. Now, this insight could help the coaches and psychologists to guide aspiring esport players. Also, we have found the association between BMI, physical self-concept, and anxiety. It reveals that physical health still matters in esport, even if performance is not physical. Players who feel healthier and more confident in their own bodies, they tend to report less anxiety and stronger motivation. So, of course, this was a pilot study, and there are a lot of limitations to it. The sample size was small; only 50 participants were there. There was gender imbalance. We only had men as a sample, mostly men. And since we took self-reported data on body measurements, BMI, it may not be entirely accurate. So future research should include larger and more diverse samples, possibly comparing esport genres or cultural groups in this case. So despite its limitation, I think this study contributes to understanding psychosocial aspect of esport career development. And we found that task and self-approach goals, they predict professional intentions. Second, we found that BMI and physical self-concept, they are linked to how players see themselves and their own abilities. And lastly, cognitive anxiety, especially worry, it varies with physical factors, which shows that body and mind are interconnected, even in virtual performance domain. So to conclude our study, the findings suggest that success in esport is not determined solely by technical ability, but also by psychological qualities like achievement motivation, physical self-concept, emotional control. Players who focus on personal growth rather than external comparison and better self-evaluation, they display stronger physical aspiration. Moreover, the link between physical self-concept and anxiety highlights that even in a digital sport, body image and mental well-being remains very crucial. Strengthening these psychosocial factors may help them to foster healthier, more motivated, and very resilient esport athletes. Now, here are some of the references that we have used in this study. Thank you so much for your attention.